We will look very, very carefully at security issues, at economic impacts, at whether or not this is truly in the national interest.
If you've grown increasingly tired of all of these stories of China having Canada up against the ropes and Canada doing nothing to defend itself, to fight back, to speak up for itself, well, you're going to find this latest story that I have to tell you about a positive development, albeit a minor one, but one that I think is hopefully symbolic of the pushback that is to come, of the decoupling, the stepping away from China that many experts all across political stripes are recommending we need to do. So on Monday, Conservative MP Michelle Rempel, she put forward a motion before the House of Commons Industry Committee that governs how the federal government deals with matters of industry and business, and including takeovers. Now, takeovers are something that, depending on what takeover they are and the size of them, they are governed by various federal acts, and it's up to the federal government to decide whether they approve them or not. Now, Michelle Rempel's motion concerned state-owned enterprises from foreign countries buying up Canadian firms. It's something that has to be approved, yay or nay, by Industry Canada, the Investment Canada Act, and basically by Cabinet, by the Prime Minister. There's a number of deals that have been in the headlines recently. There's the latest one, a place called TMAC Resources, which is a mine that operates up north in Nunavut. That's actually been purchased by a state-owned enterprise. They've bought out enough shares so that they control it, and now that will be up for approval here in Canada. And a lot of people say, well, hold on a second, let's pause and let's take a closer look at all of this. So all Michelle Rempel's motion calls to do is to do just that, to take a look at this idea of state-owned enterprises buying out Canadian firms, and should we maybe tighten the rules, revise them, make it not so easy for basically China to buy up assets here in Canada. A lot of countries around the world are beginning to think twice about this. The United States, a committee there before Donald Trump got into office, actually proposed a flat-out ban on Chinese state companies making purchases in the U.S. Now, they haven't gone ahead with that yet. They haven't implemented it, but that tells you where the conversation is at. The European Union right now, very concerned about this happening, particularly while the stock market is depressed and companies can be gobbled up for cheaper. In fact, one EU competition commissioner, she recommended that countries in the EU actually buy stakes in their own important companies to stop China from being able to buy them up. So this motion by Michelle Rempel, it passed because the Conservatives voted for it, the NDP voted for it, and the Bloc voted for it. Good for them. Rather alarmingly, though, or perhaps not surprisingly, the Liberal MPs voted against it. Why? It is just a motion to look at the issue and study the issue, and then they will come up with their recommendations at the end of it, but the Liberals were against doing even that. Very troubling that they would not go along with even starting to have the conversation. Well, good on all the other opposition parties and Michelle Rempel for putting forward the idea, because this is just one first step in many that we need to take to reevaluate the troubling status quo.